This is the Powerline Podcast, episode 65. Hi, my name is Paul. I produce the podcast. I'm a journeyman lineman by trade. We're back live at the International Lineman's Rodeo for a special series of episodes. Special guest today includes Ryan Lucas. Ryan is no stranger to the show. Of course, you are used to him on the other side of the microphone as the host of the Powerline Podcast. Go check it out if you have not already. I'm sure you have, but if not, once again, that's the Powerline Podcast. All right, always good conversation when we meet up. All things line work, plus a little tech. We kind of geek out. Anyways, I digress. All right, this is the last episode recorded live at the 40th International Lineman's Rodeo. Once again, to recap, had a great time. If you have not made it out to the ILR, be sure to get out there. Check it out. Go support your favorite team. A lot of food, a lot of stuff going on. Anyways, here we go. Milwaukee Tool. Since the company began in 1924, Milwaukee Tool has led the industry in developing innovative solutions that deliver increased productivity and unmatched durability for professional construction users. Head on over to MilwaukeeTool.com or on Instagram at Milwaukee Tool. Dragonware, good friends at Dragonware. They want to tell you, gear up for Black Friday with Dragonware. We're bringing our annual promo online in November when you can save big on all Dragonware gear for Black Friday and the holidays. Don't miss out on the perfect chance to grab our top-rated FR gear at a great price. Head to dragonware.com and sign up for our newsletter so you're the first to know. Once again, that's dragonware.com. Hot tip on Dragonware: get your cart filled up with some socks first. This is going to be a great stocking stuffer. And then go from there. The rest, take care of itself. Dragonware.com. All right. Total Safety Supplies and Solutions. Total Safety Supplies and Solutions is your one-stop shop for all your job site tools, PPE, garments, rubber goods, testing, and more. With locations spread across the U.S., you can expedite and simplify your day-to-day needs with a vast assortment of trustworthy services and solutions. That's a lot of S's. All right, visit TotalSafety.com. We are your preferred tooling and supplies and service experts. Once again, TotalSafety.com. High Voltage Industries, the biggest brand on Instagram, showcasing all aspects of the high voltage industry. These guys have been working for nearly 10 years on showing the world what we do and how the industry gets it done every day. Check out their Instagram page at highvoltage_industries. They have some of the best merch in the game at highvoltageindustries.com. Put your cart, get it ready. Use promo code PowerElement to get 10% off your order. Klein Tools, Working Athlete, Gelco, Co Eyewear, promo code PowerElement for 15% off at checkout for Co Eyewear. Buckingham Manufacturing. All right, Daniel Sanchez provides us with all our music. I'll put his info in the show notes. Lineman Mama, High Voltage Commando, appreciate you. All right, be sure to follow us, share the show. I want to thank the entire Sturgeon Electric California workforce. Without you, this podcast would not be possible. Enjoy the show. This is the Power Element Podcast. Live day 2, Friday, International Lineman's Rodeo Expo, Overland Park, Kansas. Tomorrow we'll be headed to Bonner Springs for the rodeo. All right, special guest, no other than Ryan Lucas. How we doing, brother?
Doing good, buddy. You're really good at this.
I've had some practice. Like this be like in the 60s now, so I hope I'm getting better.
I love the pre-music and the intro, and it's good.
It's humble beginnings, you know, and I'm sure you know about that too.
Dude, I was just talking to somebody today that was like, he was talking about like public speaking and like talking in front of people and how he's all like dude, I'm like, if you've heard the podcast before, then you know that this isn't my thing either. Like, it's really forced reps and just doing it. Like, even now, like, oh God.
Yeah. We always say episode 10 maybe is where we kind of find the flow and the stride. And it's definitely a challenge. And I think like any of us, linemen, we always want to get better and do better at any craft or any skill. So
I really think that more people need to do this.
Yeah.
It's a message I want to take into 2025, and I want to help more people put their faces out, especially on social media, but like through whatever means possible, like podcasting to video. Like if video is not your thing, then there's always just audio podcast. Just sit alone in your office at home and talk to a microphone and get your message out there. I think it's important.
No, to your point, and we had a lineman on earlier, and I'm sure you've heard the story too, is as soon as he's like, I didn't realize it'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
He's like, I was like, yeah, like this is what we're trying to show you guys. It's fun. Like having conversations is fun. If it's done the right way, if we're kind of asking the right asking the right questions and leading the conversation down a path that everyone leads into, it's a good time.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think you're hitting the nail on the head. What's difficult for me and what I'm try to find what's working. Like it's this constant, the freaking algorithms, like I blame the algorithms. It's not the algorithm's fault. It's like the individual's fault trying to find what's working. But the algorithm can either help you or not help you. Sure. But the algorithm is the market. The algorithm is the people. People change so much, what they want, what they don't want, what they want to listen to, what they don't want to listen to. It's that balance that I'm finding is like really hard to keep up with.
Sure.
Like, I don't know what you guys are finding with that, but like, man, it's like, what do you want? I want to deliver what's going to be best for you. But I've heard, like, I'll get comments like, oh, your podcast is too fluffy. It's too fluffy. But then I'll get another guy come up and like, I love the leadership. I love the things you're talking about. Like, it's not just line work. So I don't know. What do you guys get with that?
Yeah, you know what, man? And it's easy to bend the knee to the masses and the critics. And at the end of the day, yeah, you can change, you can receive feedback, but at the end of the day, it's got to be what's genuine about Roll's and my message, our message as a podcast. And that's going to be the most authentic. You may not, the goal for the podcast and our content has never been to say everyone's going to like it.
Yeah.
You know, if people want to listen to it, please listen to it, share it, you know, obviously. But at the end of the day, the best content we can put out is the most authentic form that we believe in. And that's the best way. If it's not for you, if it's too fluffy, or if it's not raw enough, then start a podcast. They're free. I'll help you out. I've always encouraged people.
100%.
If it's not for you, if we're not for you, please start your own, because there's enough of this opportunity to take advantage of this free platforms to get messages out there.
There's also, I 100% agree with you. Start your own thing. Do it. Like, especially if you're a critic, stop being a critic and actually do your own thing.
Yeah.
If you want it to be different. But there's also us here now, and we constantly ask for feedback. So again, challenge anybody out there, please give us feedback. Give Power Element Podcast feedback. Give Powerline Podcast feedback. I want to know what you guys want for content. I know lots of people might not know what they want till they get it, but that's what I'm here trying to figure out. So just more comments, more interactions, more letting us, more feedback, man. Like, the Powerline industry is, I'll call you out. You're terrible at feedback. You want better communication, but then you're not communicating. And these are the new ways to communicate. So freaking communicate with us.
Absolutely, you know. And that's a good point. Hitting the comments, and we learned when we first started the podcast, it was going to be a lineman-led podcast with lineman guests, and then we realized there's a whole new aspect and perspective. So we're going to change the outlook and the vision of the podcast and get a whole bigger perspective, because there's passionate people outside of just being a lineman.
Yeah.
So
I'm curious to know. I'd like to share a little bit about the direction I want to go with 2025. I'm interested in what direction you want to go with 2025.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Hey, this is my show.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to flip it on you. It's just what I do.
It's natural.
All right, I can go first if you want.
No, yeah, please do. Hang on. Let's table that question. We'll bring it back.
Sure.
Dude, last time we talked to you was at the Rodeo probably 2 years ago. The conception of your studio was a conception. You probably had a little more details that you couldn't divulge, but now it's full blown, dude. You've been rocking it. You're everywhere. LinkedIn, Instagram, the podcast. You're always showing up. You're staying consistent, man. What's going on? What's changing, man? What's going on?
Really, just the studio makes all the difference.
Sure.
The struggle for me is that it's a million miles away, it feels like. But this goes along with what I want to do more of is I don't want to feel locked in a box. The studio is beautiful. It's amazing to have, and it's allowed us to produce a lot of content and stay consistent and all of that, which is amazing. But I want to take that more on the road as well. Like you see these, if you look at any of the big podcasts out in the world right now, like whether it's Modern Wisdom with Chris Williamson, or Diary of a CEO, Stephen Bartlett.
That's a good one.
They're a traveling roadshow, right? Like they're a traveling TV show almost. I need to get out more. So that's what I want to focus on as well, is like getting out into the field a little bit more. Take this we know how to like make a nice, beautiful setup with good sound, good audio, good visuals. I want to take that to the road now as well.
What have you learned from episode 1 of Ryan Lucas in his computer with the makeshift setup, and to now having large, highly profiled guests into a nice setup, nice studio? What have you learned? What's your biggest takeaways?
Really big takeaway from this is the importance of personal branding. And it's something I'm talking about personally a lot now, because it's something on my heart. It's something I've been thinking a lot about lately, is if you're not branding yourself or developing, I know personal branding gets like a cliche, kind of like, I don't know, it gets hate on the internet. Call it whatever you want. People follow people. People want to listen to people. These are reasons why people like Tim Cook have a bigger following than Apple, or Elon Musk has a bigger following than whatever said company he starts, is because people want to follow people. Right? People want to listen to people. People want to buy from people. So the importance of building your own brand, it's something I didn't necessarily do in the beginning. I didn't understand. So I started building this thing, what was Powerline Podcast, when I think each and every person should start building and working on their own voice.
Absolutely.
The means of communicating that, the method of communication is social media, podcasting, video, YouTube. Like, look at Bob's Decline. Like, get yourself out there and share your message, because each and every person has something to say. So start building an audience to say that thing to. Absolutely,
no, man. And I want to challenge that too, is that goes beyond just social media and having a message. That empowerment goes into the yard and your show up of a good culture, a good leader. I won't speak for Raul, he's right over there, but I know he aligns with saying, like, his safety team, they can only move the needle so much. But if a leader, a good foreman, or a leader, lineman, makes a decision, sets a standard, that has more impact over the yard than any safety professional manager could probably have.
Personal brand isn't just on the internet.
Sure.
Personal brand is 100%. It's what follows you to the next job site.
Yeah.
Like, what did you do previously that showed up on the job site before you did? That's your brand. That's who you are, right? That's your reputation. Like, people just get it messed up. They're thinking, they're separating those two. That's why, like, this personal brand thing kind of gets a little bit of a bad rap, but that is your personal brand. Your reputation is your brand.
Yeah.
How many times have you shown up at a job site and somebody's like, I don't want to work with this friggin' guy. Get him out of here. Or how many times you showed up and been like, that's the guy. He's on my crew. He's my guy. Or you made it there because your brand helped you get there. So why wouldn't you work on your brand?
Yeah.
Like, resumes are almost a thing of the past, and the new resume is your LinkedIn profile.
Sure.
Or what you've done, or what shows you've been on. Sure. Have you spoke on a podcast? Are you a thought leader in your industry? Like, get on a platform like LinkedIn if you're a lineman and start talking about line work. Just start talking, just start writing, and just put it out there. Get on shows like this. Get, like, I don't know, man. Like, do things like that so that when you try to go places and create opportunities for yourself, when the people go to search you and figure out who you are, whether they want you there or not, there's some substance.
What about the opportunity to rebrand? I feel like the setbacks I've had in my life, the mistakes I made, I've always wanted to rebrand and
good question.
Just have a new outlook, because I think every year or every new opportunity, I want to do better, and I think as a lineman show up to a crew, like, maybe I had a bad reputation of not being the safest guy, but you know what, maybe that's in the past. Let me show you who I am,
I think a great way to do that is to start talking about it.
Sure.
Start talking about your experience through that, right? Yeah. Like, if you start being vulnerable and sharing that story, like, I know vulnerability is not a word that linemen like or are used to, but seriously, guys, like, if you've been a dick in the past, like, start talking about how, you know what, I've learned some things in leadership. I've been a bad leader. I've done some things wrong. Start talking about what those things are, and start showing that you're working on yourself. Like, this is another thing that I don't think people in general, never mind just line workers, really understand the power of self-development and really diving into it. Like, what are you doing to change your position or change your brand and rebrand yourself? Are you working on yourself? Are you getting up early? Are you doing the hard things? Are you putting a 30-pound, 60-pound rucksack on your back? Like, I just
Shout out Go Ruck.
Shout out Go Ruck. Shout out Mike Rowe. I just saw on his Instagram the other day, the freaking guy wears a 65-pound rucksack from Go Ruck on his freaking back and hikes every day with that thing.
Yeah.
65 pounds. I looked at myself, I'm like, fuck. You know, he's double my age.
Yeah.
And like, fuck, man. Like, what are you doing to work on yourself?
You doing the 40-pound? Sorry.
Yeah.
Side story. Yeah.
40. Yeah. I got to do more now.
Side story. I let Ryan know about the Go Ruck hack. It's just super cool. Anyways, we'll get back to it. Every year that you and I are involved in this media, this marketing, this message, the branding, we get more detached from the trade. How's your perspective changed? What are you learning more each year? You detach from actually being physically in the tools that you can get back to the trade and empower others.
Hardest thing for me, actually, honestly. If I'm being vulnerable, I struggle with it. Sure. I struggle with detaching from the trade like I have. It's just different. And I'm sure, like, if you go and talk to anybody in leadership, they've gone through the same thing. You know, used to be a lineman 15, 20 years ago, and now I'm not. I'm in management. I'm in this. I'm like, and you start to separate a little bit. I don't know. Try your best to keep your finger on the pulse. Try your best to stay in touch with people that are still into it, and just keep talking about it. Because once a lineman, always a lineman.
Sure.
It's still there. You still communicate. You still can talk to, you know. Maybe you're not doing it every day. I struggle with it because, like, I don't get the nuanced little things that are happening every day. But I try. I don't know. I try my best to stay in touch, stay up with it. In the end, that's another reason for personal branding is, like, I don't think you have to completely niche down into one thing. Yes, alignment is part of my story, but I'm also a photographer, videographer, I'm a podcaster. You know, I'm a family man. I'm a dad. I have more things that make me up. I am the niche. That's what everybody, you know, you've probably heard that before too. Like, you are the niche. There's more than just line work. And I think a lot of linemen actually need to take that into consideration and go, like, what else do I like to do in life? Maybe I should go do some more of these things. Talk about those things too. Do you hunt? Yeah. Are you not here right now because it's hunting season and you'd like to be here at the International Lineman Rodeo, but you never made it here because it's in October? Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, and if you haven't been here, you should come. Definitely come. It's a great experience. Let's go back to your there's a great stories. We align. You and I always like connecting because we align. We like the creative side, and we're kind of speaking the same language. But with that, the guests that you have, obviously the industry is kind of new to what we're passionate about, being podcasts and stuff. So what's that conversation like after the podcast that you have with linemen who are a little shy or apprehensive to come on the show?
Again, just start doing it. I think most people that come on the show get to the end of it, like you probably know, and go, that wasn't that bad. That was literally just a conversation between two linemen. Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah. It just happens to be recorded. Once you start into it, honestly, we're pretty good at what we do now. Yeah. I'm 100 and some episodes in, same with yourselves. Like, you've done this before. Yeah. You know how to ask questions. You know how to have this kind of conversation. It's not scary. Like, I was nervous being on this side. Honestly, getting into this, get into it, you're good at this. Like, start asking questions, pulling on those threads. You get to the end of it and you're like, that wasn't that bad. Yeah. Everything else kind of disappears while you're doing it. So I encourage anybody listening to this that has, like, something to share, especially if you've got, like, a good story, like things like near misses or a topic that you know really, 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 really well. Let us know so that we can bring you on and we can talk about that topic. And you and I publicly say we're introverts. I'm an introvert. I feel like, there's a social aspect to me, but I really enjoy, I drive up here by myself. I love it. I listen to True Crime podcasts the whole way, and I'm absolutely in bliss. And everyone's like, are you crazy? I'm like, no, I actually love it. I love being in solitude. Shout out to the introverts. Yeah. Shout out to the introverts. Bro, so you've taken the game, you flipped on its head, and you're doing some great stuff with the podcast. And I want to ask, where did that jump come? Because you just had Aaron Witt on from Bill Witt. You have astronauts on. You have bull riders on. Where do you find that message to tie into to share and impact our industry? So this is something I've been thinking about follow me here. The podcast in the beginning started like I wanted to share our stories, line worker stories, right? Like we all do. I wanted to capture history. So it was like, it would start like, where are you from? Where are you going? How'd you get here? That sort of thing. It's very linear in a person's journey. I've been thinking a lot lately about how the world is with regards to things like YouTube and everything's like search engines. So a guy gets on YouTube, let's just pick a topic, easy one. The number one topic we all get asked, how to become a lineman. You go on YouTube and you search that topic, how to become a lineman. You're going to get some things, some titles. Some people have it in their title. I've put it in the title of some of my episodes before. But then I don't deliver on that topic for 20, 30, 40 minutes maybe because we started with a bunch of... So I think I'm losing people. I'm trying to get more engagement and get more people sticking with it. So I want to go to more topic-based stuff for the upcoming season.
Yeah.
Pick a topic. How to become a lineman. Pick a professional that can speak to that topic and let's dive into it. Let's dive into pick a topic, leadership, communication. Let's just talk about that for 45 minutes to an hour and get it all out so that somebody searching it now can find that and get the answers they're looking for, because I'm kind of it's hard to answer those questions. What podcast do you go listen to learn how to become a lineman? I got a handful of apprentices I've had on. I give 4, but I want to give this is the one you go to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I want to.
No, those how-tos and something that brought a lot of perspective to me was Aaron Witt once shared on his podcast is that, and he has if you haven't checked him out, and he represents the dirt world. So a separate construction, I believe as an industry, power utility industry, they're a competitor, and he'll tell you that we're a competitor, taking their engineers and vice versa. Anyways, he says that one of his most watched videos is how to install the webbing on a hard hat.
100%. Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
It's the simplest shit.
Yes,
and we're over analyzing. We're thinking too broad, but ultimately those fundamental messages and how tos of doing line work or being a good communicator get overlooked by this overarching goal that we'll get there.
Yeah. I had a post just on my personal page. I think I posted it to my Powerline Podcast page too. Just recently, it was a carousel, but it was my no BS tips.
Yeah, I've seen that.
For apprentice lineman. Okay, semi kind of viral, whatever. It did really well, the post. You could take any of those 10 topics, even how to buy and maintain your tools. Let's pick that. Let's drive down on that one.
I'm going to steal that one.
No, do it. No, but this is the thing, man. Steal like an artist.
Yeah.
Literally. Because, and this is the thing with people out there too. You're not stealing. You're only stealing if you take the thing and replicate it exactly. Take the idea. This is a guy on the internet called Dan Coe. He's been blowing up lately. If you want to learn about this, how to steal like an artist, go listen to Dan Coe. Ideas come to everybody all the time, all day, every day. Give yourself a method of capturing those ideas, even if it's your notes app on your phone. Capture the idea, revisit the idea, then add your unique perspective to it. That's the thing that makes it you. That's the personal branding to it, right? So pick any topic. Pick that tool topic. Talk about it from your perspective. I don't have the same experiences you do, or your guests do. So talk about it, because somebody's going to get something from that that'll be different than they get from me. And in the end, it's what's caught, not taught anyway. You're listening to that. So when you have that idea was a catch. Absolutely. In my mind, right?
Yeah.
I caught that idea. You didn't catch that idea. It's different. And so that's how the world works, man. For sure. It's very rare to find an original idea. You got to be Einstein. Original ideas are hard to produce because they take some real thought work, and then they take some guts and balls to produce them, because you're going to get a lot of imagine Einstein coming out with theory of relativity and the whole world goes, you're dumb. That's an original idea. Yeah. We don't have original ideas. Yes. We have things that we caught, added our unique perspective to, and shared with the world.
Well said, man. I don't want to take too much of your time. I know you got some some content going on over there. But I definitely wanted to see what's on the horizon for you for next year. We're closing out. It's hard to believe, closing out 2024. This is kind of like, I think construction kind of starts winding down. Weather shifts. What's going on, man? What can you kind of pull us behind the curtain for Powerline Podcast?
Sure.
Yourself.
Well, like I said, I appreciate each and every person that listens, follows, and it's honestly not about me. People have seen the move to Quanta and, again, viewed it in all kinds of different ways. Some people know about it, some people don't know about it. I just try to keep it authentic. I'm given free rein to let it be however it is. I stay very neutral, and I will talk to anybody. It doesn't matter, union, non-union, Quanta company, non-Quanta company, it doesn't matter to me, and they leave me alone with that because I've been very good at walking that line. So anyone out there wants to chat, please hit me up in the DMs, whatever. I just want to share amazing stories, help educate, inspire, entertain, whatever it is. That's just what I want to do because that's the way the world is now.
No, absolutely, and I root you guys on too. It's great because our industry does not have a lot of representation in this market, this sector. So when you have a guest on, they're going to get more listens. It's gonna pull down that barrier for X amount more people to allow conversations to happen. They might be future guests of ours now, or vice versa. Like it's a win-win for the industry. It's a win-win for conversation. It's a win-win for the culture. So that's I love it, man. You're doing great. The content's great, obviously. Go ahead.
I want to inspire people to do this too. Like we just shared.
Yeah.
How many fitness podcasts are out there?
The hundreds, thousands.
How many Powerline related or industry related podcasts are out there?
Very few.
Very few, right? If you have a heart to talk and ask people questions, or just like even solos, just do it. Like I literally started with a laptop and a microphone in a nook in my townhouse on the weekends, not knowing what I was doing.
Yeah.
Like just, it's never been a better time to start something like this, and there's no better time than now.
And if a lineman from Canada and a lineman from California can figure it out, I'm telling you, it's pretty easy.
It's pretty easy.
If you're passionate about it, you have a message. It takes there's a learning curve. I'm not gonna lie, but you find it out, and I know Ryan and myself are happy to help. And I'll answer your question too. I know I dodged it in the beginning, but definitely that there. I root you on for whatever you're doing and your aspirations. I love the guests you have on. You have a great variety of guests. But you set the tone, you set the tempo, and it allows me to chase that, and I think that's great. So it's always, for us, it's a challenge to be more consistent, and staying relevant and trying to be proactive instead of reactive on trending topics. We just had a guy come in prior to us hitting record. He wanted to share his perspective, and those are always good. I always ask, what can we do better? What do you want to talk about? I think those are always neat. So it's just empowering more linemen to come on and share the message. They're always like, I don't talk good, I don't public speak good. We're not. Either do I. We're just having a conversation, just like we are hanging out.
I'm not sure if you've been to the studio, but it's like, it's not big. You're not speaking to thousands of people in the studio.
Yeah.
It's pretty intimate.
It's pretty easy. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Did that answer your question a bit?
Absolutely.
It's trying.
Cool.
It's a learning process, and there's. I think what's unique for us, trends are always changing, and the needle is always moving in a different direction. But I think that authenticity helps in both of our cases. So for sure.
Another thing, one more thing that I've seen, especially in the fitness world, and I love the fitness industry for this because they're always trying to, because it's so oversaturated, they're constantly doing things. So I try to pay attention to the fitness industry. They're doing a lot of like co-branding, like working with other brands working with brands. Yeah. And I love that about them. And I think this industry could benefit a lot from work with the brands, even if they make the same shit as you.
Yeah.
Like get together, talk about how to make things better. You're gonna draw each other's audiences in, and you're only gonna grow and get better from it. Like enough of the like, you're you, we gotta keep it separated. It's no, we're all the freaking same. We're just people. Especially like the linemen, and especially the linemen like in the union side are so transient, right? Like, yeah, they work for this company one day, they work for another company the next. Doesn't mean that you need to like lock them down and we can't talk to them. I don't know, just more sharing of like knowledge, skills, work together.
Well said.
Yeah.
We'll end it on that?
Yeah.
Where can people find you?
Powerline Podcast on Instagram, all socials. If you want to find me personally, Ryan W. Lucas on all platforms.
You heard it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
Peace.